Well, let's just start from the beginning. I think that we've had our little introduction, but I believe all of you have saw the flyer that we sent out for Dr. Sharnael, and we're looking forward to what you're going to share with us. And after
Yeah,
the end, maybe we can have some Q&As, and
yeah,
we'd just like for you to share your heart for oils and different ways of raising our vibration and
yeah.
essential oils for us, maybe hit just a little bit even on animals, because I know a lot of us have animals and there's that big concern. You can't use them on animals. You can't use them for cats. And I know that you do use essential oils for healing with your animals.
I
So
have as
you have a
well.
story behind that as well. So
Yeah.
just follow your heart and let's take the lead and let's just begin.
Awesome. Yeah, my name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton Sehan. Nice meeting you guys. Originally from Montana, traveled everywhere with my dad initially, and then in ministry as well. Let's see, did conferences for years until all this social medical engineering thing happened a couple years ago. And then basically moved everything online, did TV for about 3 years. Everything's online now. So but yeah, I know Ian. I know someone mentioned Ian. I actually brought him to the States and introduced him to everybody here, and to help him get going over here in the States. And I'm trying to think what else. My spiritual dad is, I don't know if you know Bob Jones. I worked
We
with
do.
him for years, and worked for Streams Ministries for John Paul because of Bob. Bob introduced me to John Paul. Worked with him for 4 years before I met Patricia King. Actually contacted me and invited me up to Idaho, actually. And I didn't know who she was, and out of nowhere she called me, or had her people call me at home and invite me up there, and they paid for me to come up, and she wanted to meet with me about a prophetic vision that happened, and wanted me to share with her because she had something similar and was just trying to connect the dots. And anyway, in that meeting, she actually called me out and commissioned me to full-time ministry. And from that point on, when I got home, I had phone calls all over to start teaching on my own, separate from John Paul, which, so for a while I was teaching for Streams, but also launched Swiftfire, and hosted my own conferences, as well as spoke at many conferences while doing that with TV. Found myself very ill after several years of doing that. Mostly was my own fault of just my diet and running myself to the daggum ground, working 110 hours a week, being on 6 planes a week, just, trying to manage children, and being gone 4 days a week for teaching conferences, and then coming home and having to come back to be mom, and all the emails, and all the stuff to catch up with office stuff. And yeah, so I started going to Western doctors at first because I was trying to figure out why I felt so bad and trying to get get it resolved. And after 6 years of multiple meetings with doctors of all kinds, still didn't have any answers. So I kind of really gave up, to be honest. I was actually teaching a dreams and visions course in Mississippi, in Meridian, Mississippi, and was introduced to a doctor there, and they had encouraged me. They knew that I was suffering, literally going through what I was going through, and suggested me go meet with him. And I wasn't interested, honestly, because I really didn't think another doctor was going to be able to do anything. And I just was really depressed about it, to be honest, because it just didn't seem like anything was working, and nobody had any answers. And it was a lot of money and time just to spend my wills doing zero. And they put, they would put me on one med, and that med, I needed more side effect, more stuff for the side effects. And anyway, I was up to 30 meds at that time. I had a whole freaking suitcase of drugs that I would have to take separate when I would travel. And then the mental gymnastics of take this with food, take that with water, don't take these two together. This isn't at night, this is in the day, that whole thing. So had already been studying frequency and energy for a while. This doctor worked a lot with specific machines that helped with frequency, but he suggested essential oils because essential oils are frequency, and it was a way that I wouldn't have to be hooked up to a machine 24 hours a day. We can sit on a rife or a biomat or a grounding mat or whatever the situation, or we can, just put on an oil if it's a good one. And that carries frequency, and it can cover, if you use Young Living specifically, then that can penetrate the blood barrier and the brain barrier. And what that does is it changes your cells instantly. I do live blood analysis, so you can see underneath the microscope the changes within seconds. But also changes the frequency of your body within seconds. And with every cell and every organ have a projection out into your field. So our field, some people have 1 foot, some people have 10 feet of a biofield around us. And I talk a lot about this in my book, The Science of Miracles. I don't know if any of you guys have this, but
I have it.
It goes into that a little bit, well, a lot, and just how to get out of those, how to have positive radiation and positive code in your field. So every cell has a projection. So if your ancestry may have had some issues, whether it's poverty or any kind of limiting belief, that is also projected into the field. Any kind of victim energy is projected into the field. So we only get a match to whatever we are, because it's all math. It's all an equation. It's actually a science. And that was something that was really intriguing to me, to be able to change my cells, especially with most doctors saying, oh, your grandma had that, then, oh, well, let's just cut this out, or let's give you this or whatever, So started working with, I was introduced to Young Living. I thought it was cuckoo, weird. I wasn't going to do anything with it. And I just kind of like put it on the side. And then after we went to go eat Chinese food, and I saw a flyer in this restaurant about a quantum physicist who was in town teaching on quantum physics and frequency and healing oils, essential oils of the Bible, which I thought, well, that's a weird combination. And it was obviously whatever we would just talked about. And let me explain why that happens. Is now that it was in my field, now I started attracting those kind of things because it was introduced to me in my field. Therefore, that code went out and multiple people started coming to me. Those synchronicities are not just like chance. It's what happens when you hang out with people. And that's why it's really important who you hang out with and what you're doing with other people, because there is an attachment into the field. And we can also have bad entities in the field that will also draw in negative, lower energies. So frequency is really important, not only to our physical body, but to the field. And that's just a projection. So anyway, went to that meeting, met Dr. Stewart, asked him if he would come teach at one of the conferences that we had. And at that point, he was also talking about the same company, Young Living. And he didn't even know Dr. Lucky. He didn't have anything to do with that or whatever. So that was just really intriguing. I ended up later getting a kit. The doctor that I was working with isn't even with Young Living, but he had tested the oils, and he tests everything that he suggests. And so I got the kit not knowing what or why what I was doing. I thought it was really dumb, to be honest. I was very judgmental. I was also a little bit nervous because it was an MLM and I wasn't really on board with anything having to do with that. I thought it was just like scammy and, you know, I just never have really been a fan of it. And also because of my platform, you may be surprised how many invitations I get to like represent companies all the time. Like, I'm sure you guys get them too. But yeah, I'm probably daily 10 or 15 people will come saying, hey, will you endorse this or that, or this book, or this vacuum cleaner, or these cosmetics, or this water, or whatever, you know, fill in the
Yeah.
blank, magnesium, or, you know, and I'm just not interested in most of that stuff, cooking, wear, or makeup. As you could see, I'm not like a big makeup fan. So, um, but I didn't understand at the time that it's not like you had to do the business or anything, or there was no, it was just like, it's kind of like Sam's or Costco. You can order if you want, you don't have to if you don't want to. There's no pressure, depending on who your upline is. My upline had a lot of pressure, but most people don't care. And I just let people do whatever they want to do. I'm not that person. So anyway, got in and started using the kit. And after 16 weeks, had no more symptoms, completely got off all meds, dropped 80 pounds, which is all physical things. But on the spiritual side, I was like, that's the part that was like crazy, even more crazier for me. Is of course I wanted to feel better, but I did not realize how much it would affect my intuition and my clarity, my abilities, and my God tech. So, ooh, I'll just like that. Anyway, so that set me on a new path to really find out. I'm a purist. So I really started digging in to find out more about these oils, which led me to meet Gary Young, who is also just a brilliant, amazing, oh, I'm gonna cry, but person. And Joanne McFadder and I don't know if you're familiar with Joanne, we went to a meeting in Kentucky where he was and met with Dr. Stewart up there. And I thought I was going to like a business meeting, and it was more like a revival. I was shocked. I mean, Gary got up there, he was praying for people, he was laying hands on people. He was supposed to do a presentation and then us all just leave or whatever. And here it was like 10 at night, and people came up to the altar. It wasn't an altar, it was just a meeting, but people were literally sitting on the floor to get as close to him as possible and then asking him questions. And he would just sit there and listen to everyone and what they were going through, and literally just gave so much attention to everyone individually. And then finally, uh, they kept coming to him saying, you have a plane to catch, you know, and he finally grabbed the mic, went back on the stage and said, hey, obviously there's still some people here who have questions. I'm not going anywhere. For anyone who wants to stay, you can stay. I'll answer all your questions until there's no more questions. And if you have to go, feel free to go. And nobody moved. And we were there till like 3 a.m. And he literally sat there and asked, let anyone come to the mic and ask questions and tell their story. And he just literally, and people were crying. I mean, I was just shocked. I had no idea what I was getting into, but God obviously did. This is Gary right here. He's just such a beautiful man. And he's literally the only person I've ever buried, meaning like shovel to make the hole to bury him. So we were very close. It helped too that Bob was in my life at that time, and Bob had several visions about these bottles in a medicine cabinet that were going to change the world, and that they were plants, plant medicine. That was the next future wave of healing. And then Bobby Connor came out in 2010 with the oh God, what is it? The Shepherd's Rod. And it was about the same thing. And he was talking about how the doctors in this vision that he saw all had these masks. And then when the masks were off, it was actually demons that were training people into this indoctrination to, basically stay sick. And it was then at that point too, I also read a book by Napoleon Hill called The Devil, something, Outwitting the Devil. And so it was a combination of several things that I drew to myself because that's where I was. And you guys do your own version of just having that perfect path as you create and manifest. And then also we can create pretty crappy stuff too by accident and by default. And that's why I ended up writing this book about, just being more aware and cognitive of what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're eating, what we're bringing into the field to collect a match. So yeah, that took me on a journey to realize that there weren't just Young Living oils, that I had gathered tons of oils over the years from Chuck Pierce's group and just people everywhere. At the altar, people would pray and people would give you stuff. And that was my only knowledge of oils until I met Young Living or met Gary. And so we had a third party collective study on these oils and the companies. And we found out that not only are the oils are very different than regular oils on the market, but that some of the oil companies are very nefarious in what their ingredients are, including semen, urine, blood, feces. So I was just shocked at that. And coming from the knowledge of ritualistic abuse, I understand that that's part of a ritual. And when you buy it and you put it on your body, that's consent. And so you're basically, not you, but people in general can be consenting to a satanic ritual where they now have access to you and your DNA and can send entities and whatever to cause confusion or sickness or whatever, whatever they want to do. Which, we're a lot of times people who are believers are just kind of like going around singing kumbaya while these guys are like not playing around. They're strategic, they're very, and they're united. So that's the difference between us and them. We have so much division. They stand very united. They are very on purpose with their mission. And so that's one thing I really encourage is to, put the guns down and like, let's just find what's common among us as much as possible and stop the fighting, because that's only going to keep everything in 3D. And it's almost impossible. Well, it is impossible to raise the collective map of consciousness if there's this constant black and white, up and down, right and left, color, gender, all the things that cause everybody to split. And that's by it's 100% planned. That's not an accident either. So anyway, started working with essential oils, started realizing that when I would Google to understand what a certain oil would do, started realizing that certain crystals have the same impact. The difference is obviously you can't put a crystal in your blood to cover your cells. But what I didn't find out is if I have a crystal in my field, that changed my field instantly. And I also found out that if I take this field and speak to it or it's just with me, then if someone else takes that field, then my essence goes with that crystal to that person. That you can program these things. They record. So the difference between oils have frequency, crystals have frequency, but oils don't record, and oils dissipate over about 2 or 3 hours. So what I found is if you put an oil on and then you carry a crystal and program it to that in your pocket. I mean, this is bigger, too little big to put in your pocket, but it will hold the projection longer, if not forever, as long as this is clear, or programmed to whatever you want to. Then I went a step further and tried to find some sort of manual or something that had both of them together. That way, when I was prescribing, because by the way, I ended up going back to school and got my naturopath medicine. It's actually a biblical naturopath medical degree. I already had my master's from seminary and my undergraduate, so it was just an easy, not easy, but I didn't have a lot to do to shift to go straight into getting my degree. Thank God, literally thank God for the path that I'd already started. Oh, I lost track of time. Well, I mean, lost track. What was I saying? I was talking about the marriage of the two. So I found out
Right.
that the combination really worked, but I couldn't find any kind of manual on how they work together. And there's references for crystals. There's a whole reference guides for crystals. There's whole reference guides for essential oils where you can look up and go, this is for blank, or this is for blank, or this is for blank. I'm not going to name the things because of compliance. But when we, I just started making like notes, and then my notes got longer, and then it was like a notebook. And when I would talk to my patients, they were like, well, where can I get this information? Can you send me the thing? And I sent it to a few people, and then someone said, why don't you make a book out of it so everybody can have it? And I was going to make a book about it. But then the more I studied, the more like I could put everything in one book and you could carry that book around. But if I broke it up into cards, we found out that someone can hold this card of this crystal and it carries the frequency of that, which, what the heck? So that took it to a new level because this is lighter. I can carry a whole deck of 80 cards that have crystals on them as I travel, instead of carrying 80 crystals in a suitcase. And God bless my husband, who is carrying my suitcases whenever we would travel. He's like, oh my God, this is so much easier. So I still love crystals. And I also really, really appreciate having the convenience of this, because I can put this in my kid's lunchbox or my backpack or my purse. I could stick it in my car for the day, my back pocket, and it has the same essence of this. And it changes my field. So immediately I could test myself like this. I could take it away. I'm weak. I'm strong. Same exact thing, which is kind of a big deal. So on the back of each of the cards, I have not only what the crystal does for mind, body, and spirit, whether it's, I want to keep it clean for compliance, but then I also have the decree, a written decree that has the same frequency voice-wise to match the crystal, which also carries and holds. And then the companion oils. I have 4 companion oils that most suit whatever match. So if I want to put an oil on, then I could carry the crystal or carry the card and have it more anchoring to whatever I'm trying to accomplish that day. Because obviously we are perfect. Well, not obviously, but we are perfect, and our cells are perfect. And because God is in our cells, and God doesn't miss. God doesn't have sin, which is missing the target, which is an archery term. And it just means missing the mark of love. God is love. God is in our cells. And when we work with these things that God has given us, then we can clear some of the ancestral stuff. We can clear whatever programming, and we can walk in a level of frequency and help our bodies to remember how to do it on its own. So we're starting to not only change ourselves, but we carry our children. We carry every partner we've ever been with physically. And which is why it's so important not to have partnership with people that sexually, because that's forever. And when we're working with all of this, this is a way to not modify, but to clear, so God can come through, and we wash away all that stuff, and God has access to our field, which sends a radiation, and then we start collecting God things to us, because again, we only get a match. So if we're radiating God in the field, then we will get a God opportunity, a God person, a God partnership, God abundance, everything that God is, and we know the names of God, that comes back to us, and we start having a better life, literally, because it changes your patterns. And again, there's a whole lot more in this, and it gives all the scriptures to back it up. It talks about how to get out of time loops, how to frequency hop, kingdom versus kingdom. There's a lot of information in there that kind of gives more understanding to that. But that's kind of how I started working with the oils and crystals. So any questions?
Yes. What are time loops and frequency jumps, did you say?
Frequency jump. What is frequency jumping?
And what are time loops?
So we can have certain timelines that we're on, and like a path that we're on, and we can be taken off that path and send a new, like with every choice and every decision, every thought sends a certain timeline, and that can be changed constantly, and it is changing constantly. And then there's the collective timeline. So the more everyone thinks a certain way, the more the earth goes a certain direction. When we spin, as we awaken and as we raise the frequency of ourselves, we're raising the frequency of the entire earth, because the earth has a biofield as well, 7.83 megahertz, or 86 megahertz. And actually that has been, that can change too, the earth's the Schumann. And I have a whole teaching on that on my website. And we actually just had a blackout a couple days ago. I don't know if you guys ever felt the effects of that, but that's an interesting thing. So there's different things that change the field of the earth as well. Each animal, everything, all the plants, all the animals, everything has a field. And so we can change our timeline personally, and we can also change the timeline of the earth by changing our thoughts, our feelings, and just continuing to work on us. But frequency hopping, that's a really long discussion. So probably that might be another teaching another day. Right.
Or get the book.
Yeah, get the book.
Now, what about for animals? Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yes.
Using essential oils with them.
Yeah. So the reason why so when I started working with these other companies, we tested 30 some companies and 3 doctors, blind study. And we found out that most of the companies, like I said, not only had some nefarious stuff in it, but some of the companies were just actually not good because of either they cooked it wrong, they distilled it improperly. You guys probably understand with food, if you take a vegetable and you cook it, you lose a lot of the nutrients, if not all of them, which is why like canned food is dead. It has a frequency of death. So will it fill you up and make you feel full? 100%. Like, it does the job if you're just trying to not be hungry, but will it give you the nutrients or the frequency that you could have and you could absorb to help this machine work with God? Because this is just like a space suit right here, and God's in here and all the cells, trillions, sitting in this spacesuit, right? And I say spacesuit because the earth is in space and we're on the earth, so literally we are also in space, including this spacesuit, and like our cars are spaceships. But
That's really cool.
Yeah. So some of the oils have propylene glycol, most of them. doTERRA, I hate to like, wait, I don't know if you can edit that out. Certain companies, I had tested 99% not peppermint, 99% not wintergreen. And they also have expiration dates. If you have an expiration date on an oil, then you know that it's not a real oil and it has no frequency. So most of the companies are more like a fragrance type thing. It's not a medical thing. They could put on there 100% therapeutic grade A. That means absolutely nothing. Because when I called the FDA and said, look, we just tested blah, blah, blah. Why, these 30 companies, why can they put on the bottle 100% oil, oil? And their response was, where our guidelines are, if you have 5% of a real oil in a bottle, you can label it 100%. And the reason why is because they're saying that the oil in the bottle is 100%. They're not saying that the bottle contains 100% blah, peppermint or lavender or whatever. So that's kind of tricky. And they do that with pretty much all the quote food. Most of the food isn't food. But like if you go get cranberry juice, for example, on the front, they'll try to make it look all like good for you. But cranberry juice, they can put on there natural, organic, or all these like cute words that make you think, oh my gosh, this is healthy, I'm going to buy it. And you can look at a full, real 100% all cranberry juice next to a whatever fake one. And if you look on the back, it'll have the ingredients and show like, this is cranberry juice, 3% cranberry juice, 97% fructose, or it might have like apple juice in it or some other kind of juice. But even though the front says cranberry and it has pictures of cranberry, a lot of people won't look at the back and go, oh, well, this is actually sugar water, so, or corn syrup or something, so same thing, I read the labels. And when I went in the back and looked at a certain cranberry, it's like 100% actually cranberry. That's it. It's only cranberry juice in here. So, what a lot of the companies have done is if I take, let's say 7 ounce, if I go to the store, I have a Whole Foods store, not Whole Foods, but a natural real store. I don't know even how to call it, because Whole Foods is what I want to say, but that's what Whole Foods is, and it's not the same thing. Don't buy anything oils from Whole Foods. But if I buy carrot juice at my natural place down here, that will literally make it in front of me, like blend it and juice in front of me, I can get 7 ounces of that. And then I could go buy 7 empty milk cartons or empty them out, and I could take a little bit of carrot juice and put them in all these cartons and then add fructose or water or whatever filling in it. And I could sell each of those cartons for $3 instead of the 7 ounces that I bought. That could be $14. That's pure carrot juice, right? So a lot of people will look at numbers of money and cost and make their decisions based on, oh, well, this is so much cheaper. And the trick is, it really is, it's cheap. It's not going to help your physical body by drinking 97% fructose, nor will it help you to have an oil that only has 3 drops of support to it. The other thing is it could have propylene, not just propylene glycol, which is antifreeze, but it could have like a carrier in it. And carriers aren't bad, but carriers will keep the oil from going into your blood. Because it's so thick, the molecules are so thick that it keeps it on top. And so when you put it on, it just sits and rests on top and it won't go in, which would be good if you had a burn, but it's not good if you're trying to support yourself on a cellular level. So yeah, that's going back to the animal thing. If you look up or Google anything about animals and oils, and they say it's so toxic and so bad, it's because most of the people who've tried an oil are trying something that's toxic with propylene glycol. And you've heard of animals who accidentally drink propylene glycol in the water and then they die. Their little tiny cat bodies can't deal with putting propylene glycol on them or even smelling it. It's not good. It's not good for us either. But because they're so small, it can affect them pretty severely and compromise their system even to death. So, it just depends on whose oils are you using if you're going to work with animals. I work with a couple foster places here. And when I was fostering, very first started fostering, I had went to go bring back one of the kittens litters that we were fostering. And when I went there, they said, oh, we can't take them back right now because the shelter's under a quarantine. And this is way before like the C word and all that. And I was like, what do you mean? What's going on? And they said, oh, there was some sort of not reproductive lung stuff going on with all the cats and phlegm and things like that. And they were having like all kinds of goo coming out their eyes and their nose and just weird stuff. So I said, well, would you let me try to I talked to the vet and to the director there, and I was like, do you care if I come in here and try to help support the animals? And they said sure. And so we brought diffusers in all the rooms, and then I raindropped 70 something cats every day for 4 days. And on the 4th day, they called me and they said, I don't know what the crap you did, but we're lifting the quarantine. And also our workers here have said that they haven't felt as good as they do right now. Like everyone is like, we want this in our house. So the staff bought their own kit, and several of the staff bought each of their own kits and have been, and still to this day use them. And also Ningxia Red. They were dropper feeding some of these kittens that didn't have moms, that a lot of them will die if they don't have a mom, or if they're left alone, because the mom will dump them if they know that they're sick sometimes. And we were dropper feeding them Ningxia Red, and they wouldn't die. They would live, they'd make it. It would increase their frequency because it has the highest antioxidants of any living food on the planet. And so using oils is like getting an IV of because it's literally in the cells. It's as close to getting an IV as possible. And then Ningxia Red is also really important for us as adults and children, and also animals can help, which changes our field as well, which helps us get a better match to our life of whatever we're doing and everywhere we're going, and that kind of stuff. So it can help animals. I've worked with horses. I've raindropped horses, dogs. I've worked with all kinds of animals doing this, and we've seen some amazing testimonies that should never have worked. And everyone said wouldn't happen. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh. So I've had multiple shelters now who called after that and said, can you come do that over here? We heard what you did. And I've done it to two different shelters now, and had one call me, but then they never followed up. So
Dr. Sharnael, what is the process of raindropping when you say you raindropped the shelter?
That's a 28-hour course. So,
oh Lord.
Yeah, it's a yeah, that's it's a certain series of oils that go on the spine.
Oh, okay.
That go right into the spinal fluid, because the spine and the spinal fluid is what goes into the tree of life of our bodies and our nervous system. And we have an electric body, and
Sure.
the nervous system is electric. And if we add frequency to the central nervous system or the spinal fluid, it sends it really fast to not only the blood, but just it clears out whatever it needs to, as it helps reset the electronics in our body. And it detoxes really well, detoxes anything that doesn't need to be there.
Did the shelter workers pick it up because it was in the animals field?
I trained a couple of them to help me raindrop the cats.
Oh, okay.
But also just the diffusers that were going off,
Sure.
They were like, oh my gosh, one said, I haven't been able to breathe and however many months, and now like all my sinuses cleared out. Or intuition, dreams. I guess I keep catching myself because I forget that's not just us talking, that this might go somewhere. But yes.
May I ask a question?
Who said something?
Yes, Heather, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you. And I have to go at the hour, so I just want to say honor to you, Dr. Sharnael.
Aw,
Thank you very much for
thank you.
your journey and all the overcoming you've done and what you're bringing to us as a result.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
You
I have about 9 minutes myself, but yes, awesome. Bless you.
Thank you. You mentioned, and Ian's often mentioned you and always in honor and appreciation. You mentioned about crystals holding frequency, and I just wondered, it's quite difficult to know where we get crystals from. So if we go buy crystals at a new age fair or a market, as I did recently, I didn't feel anything bad in them, but I wouldn't necessarily. What do I do to reprogram those in the Lord from anything which had been put into them nefariously before?
You can clear them with sage oil, Palo Santo, white angelica, just put them right over the diffuser. And then like mentally hold it and program it to whatever you want it to be. You could just clear it. I mean, some people will set it in the sun. Some people will put it in Himalayan salt and just let it rest. There's different ways. You can Google all kinds of ways to clear, but to program it, it's just, you're so powerful. It doesn't take much to program anything. You can program gold. You can program any metal. And then all of those things carry too. So, when you buy any of that, clear it.
That's good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tina, for holding this.
Thank you for coming, Heather.
Love you.
Bless you. Thank you.
Love you guys.
So talking about Raindrop and your animals, you used all of the oils that you would use on your person, on the animals as well in the slime.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
Do we have any other
Hi.
questions?
Well, hey, hi. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Janae.
Hi, Tina. Hi, Sharnael. So awesome. You're speaking my language, crystals and frequencies and time jumping. I love it. This is more of a share. Last night I had a dream about, so it's a personal connection to this actual conversation, which I almost didn't make it because it's pouring where I'm at in Northern California. But I finally got on the call. I was like, yes. So last night in my dream, I was, and they're so kind of weird. So they kind of bounce around, but I was standing next to somebody and I was wearing a space suit. And I was like, where's your space suit? And so, and then you had described, we're in these space suits. And then I also had a dream in that dream of a gray cat. And I was driving and the gray cat jumped out of the window and ran up this street. And so I got out and chased the gray cat and caught up with the gray cat and was holding. I was like, oh, we're together. I look like you had a gray cat, Sharnael.
I have a gray cat. Yes.
Okay.
I have 8 cats, and one of
So
them.
I saw a gray tail and I was like, no, I did not just see a gray cat tail. So your cat, I'm
This one's
for
white
sure.
and gray, but I have one that's.
I didn't even see the one behind you.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So I was like, her cat came to visit me in my dream. I just know this. So I had to share because I'll have dreams into the next day. There'll be it won't be exact, but so it just means we're all connected and to me, and that I'm, this is just
On the
so
right
powerful.
Yes.
On the right track. Yes, on the right timeline, and just super powerful. So, and I just appreciate you, and I feel like you're the same Sharnael that's friends with Laura Eisenhower.
Yes, ma'am. That's my best friend.
She's so amazing. I love her. I got to hang out with her.
Such a small world.
I'm like, this is such a, like, are you kidding?
When did you meet her? Where did you meet her?
So I met her like years ago on the Big Island through another mutual friend, and we got to hang out for 10 days. And I just loved every minute of it. And there was on the Big Island, there were some speakers there like Corey, Good, who else was there?
Oh, you were in
This
I know what conference you're talking about then.
it was like 10 years ago. Yeah, it was like with the dolphin lady.
Yep.
So Laura and I still will keep in touch here and there. And but I was the beginning of everything 3 years ago. Then I reached out to her and then started following her on Zoom calls. And I remember you've been on a few of them. So I'm like, it's the same. It's such a small world. So I'm so happy to
Yeah, she
be
lives like
in the
10
frequency again. Oh,
She lives like 10 minutes from me.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so awesome.
So she's
Really
my neighbor
magical.
too.
So no way. Oh my gosh. I'm moving there because I don't know what's happening in California, but there's a
Well,
big
come on, girl.
cyclone out in the ocean in front of us. So
Yeah.
That's
oh, I
awesome.
love it. Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sharnael, why don't you take this time to talk about the biofeeds and the things that you offer?
Okay. Yes. So another way to help magnify the crystals and or our own, we are crystals, by the way. So this crystal is to use frequency machines, which most of them you have to be hooked up to, like rifes and other things that you literally either lay down on or they hook up to you. I have now got what they call remote biofeedback, and they've been using this on us for years, unfortunately, with nefariously. But we can basically send frequency out to your body through biofeedback. So we take a screenshot of your field, and I can detect what's going on in the field, also through evox with your voice. And then there's like 30 something reports that come up with everything having to do with neurotransmitters, basic organs, today's stress, emotions, spiritual. So it'll show if there's any entities or attachments or dark forces, or if your field isn't strong enough and you need support in the field, or it goes into chiropractic, it goes into sensitivities for foods or chemicals. It goes, I mean, gosh, there's tons of, lab work with hormones. It does everything. So I can see, and then we customize what frequency you need to go back to your body. And then we go ahead and start that process to send it to you long distance. And people say, well, how does it work long distance? They're already doing that with 5G. They're doing it every day with everything, through music, through our television, through Wi-Fi, through my dad worked on these radars as a kid, and this is like when I was in the 70s, and this has been really around since World War II, nefariously. But once I get that going, as far as the new custom frequencies to get you back into harmony physically and emotionally and spiritually, then I will, if you do a consultation, I can actually look at the reports with you, and I can suggest any kind of physical things that you can do on your end for practical protocols that will hold the frequencies that I've sent to you. Because when I send them to you, you can, usually it lasts about 7 to 10 days, sometimes up to 14 days. And then they say to do another one right away, like within that 2 weeks, and then another one, just like training wheels on your bike. You don't need training wheels forever, but eventually you could take the training wheels off and your body remembers how to do it. But your DNA knows what to do. It just needs sometimes a little activation or a little boost, and then also clearing away anything that was prohibiting it from doing what it's supposed to do. That way it'll just keep going like a tuning fork. You hit a tuning fork, bing, and it'll like vibrate, right? But eventually it gets tired and it stops. But if you get another tuning fork the same, if you bang this one and it's buzzing, and then you get one over here, then they start buzzing next to each other, and they just eventually, like, you could bring in several and they're all in unison doing this like high vibe frequency. And so I like to look at the reports to see, like, what can you do to keep these going? And eventually this will be the new you, and you won't need any kind of like tricks or pony rides or side wheels. You just go, oh, this is my new frequency, and I stay here and I hold it because it's anchored in to the practice of what you're doing. And a lot of those practices you don't even have to do forever. It's just a little like boost, like jump starting your car if your battery's dead. And then it's like, oh, now I'm new me, I have new clarity. And then also that changes your field. So you start getting different matches of abundance and prosperity and love and, you know, positivity and things that help you on your mission. You know, like maybe you've been like, oh my gosh, I feel so alone in this situation. And then someone else comes along and they're like, oh, I'm doing this too. And then you guys can work together and you start attracting synchronicity, people who are part of what you're supposed, like this. Exactly. I mean, I made this, you created this. We all brought each other together because it's time. We're ready. Like there's something here for this. And it's never an accident, you know, on who I bring into my field, good or bad. And so, well, there is no good or bad, but it's just all God. God is the only power and presence acting here. So the biofeedback has been extraordinary supportive, because that's another thing that we can add to our little tool belt of what, you know, what we're doing. And you know, this should be out there. There's been multiple people who've come up with this over the years, and then they're like gone, you know, whether it's like cars that run on water or air, or, you know, med beds and stuff like that. You know, everyone keeps saying, oh, med beds are coming any minute. They are not coming any minute. I mean, I don't know if you've watched the news lately for the last 3 years, but they're not really excited about getting us healthy and sovereign. So
Right.
there isn't a whole lot of people there, you know, the forces that be are not going to allow that to come out right now, unless enough of us demand it. And they have endless supplies of support and money and whatever to keep everybody dumbed down, whether it's the thing or frequency, or I mean, they use, I hate to say it, but they use churches, they use sports, they use music, they use entertainment, they use all kinds of things to keep us in that low vibe. The fighting to keep us in that low vibe, all the
Right.
things to pull us in and bait us to stay instead of rising above the sun like you guys are doing and getting, you know, that higher, not only frequency within, to be God on earth. I'm not saying that I'm God, but I'm saying God is in every freaking cell, and I have
That's right.
trillions of them. And so as I walk around God in me, then, you know, we can make a difference individually and then collectively. So as I work on me, I'm also working on every partner, again, every child. So if it feels hard for you, it's because you're working for many.
That's so good.
Yeah, really good. And it is up to us. Like we are the med beds, like you were talking about earlier with the frequencies. And so when we raise our frequency, that's where the new timeline, the heaven on earth, is created. So we break free from that false matrix that we've been tricked into with those lower vibrations.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, really powerful. So it's awesome.
And I did put some links into the chat. So if you want to find her website, you want to go on YouTube, you can find that in the chat, and you can go to the website. You can hook up with, get the cards. You can get some biofeedback. I'm assuming that that's Google Pay. Is there also PayPal to be able to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, also, I do have the book on audio if you don't want to read it. And then I also have a membership on my YouTube. My YouTube has like a $4.99 membership if you choose. You don't have to, you could just watch the videos, but then I have some private videos, and also we do private meetings once a month where like this. and that just helps me to be able to keep doing what I'm doing. And we also select, once a month, we select a free biofeedback out of the membership group. And we just do some fun things in there, just some private stuff, because just like you guys are doing community, I've in the last year or so, I've really just wanted to find my people and wanting, I'm on interviews every day. I did 6 yesterday. But it usually is just me and this other person in a screen, and I don't see any of the people watching. I might see their comments and their names, but I don't know where you live. I don't know if you're married. I don't know if you have children. I don't know if you're hurting. God, I'm going to cry.
Right.
I want to know people. I want people to know me. I want us to work together. I want us to feel like we have a team. I want us to have, I loved when Tina mentioned, she invited me to this thing in February, and even this today, I just cried, because this is my heart, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
I totally get that. Like, I'm like, okay, I want to do a biofeed scan with you. I almost want to like hook up with you and do it in person,
yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah, relationship. It really is about relationship for us, make our connection and be there for one another and help one another. It's about community. I call this my vibe tribe. This is the people that I vibe with, who I have vibrations with, and they come on, and this comes out of ATS, but I opened it up to whosoever to be able to come on today, to come in to hear the guest speaker and to hear you talk your heart, and to just to bless others,
well,
to come into our community and see what we're vibrating, who we are, see the heart behind ATS and behind River Sound.
Yeah. And when we did conferences, there was more opportunity for that in person. People would come to get book signing or whatever, and I can actually look in people's eyes and hug them and pray with them and, hear their stories. And, since all this has happened and we're just not doing a lot of that personal meeting, this is the closest I got. But it was like air to me to start these meetings and to see the faces of the people that were commenting and not just the names anymore. It was just like really beautiful for me, to be able to love like that and to feel the love and to connect on that love frequency. So yeah, so I will send you the someone's asking about the membership. I don't know how to put that in here, but I can send it to you, Tina, on
Okay.
let's see.
I have a very rookie question, because I'm not that familiar with essential oils other than just topical application. Is there an essential oil for a traumatic injury that will help progress the healing?
All of them are free. Anything that's high frequency is what clears low frequency. It cancels each other out. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. Automatically you've doubled. But when you use something negative or dead, 1 - 10, then you're a -10. So the key is to clear and to raise, and that's what moves out. It's like not giving it any attention, just starving it, basically. Now, I'm not saying don't feel your feelings, because some trauma will only release through tears. Literally.
Actually, I mean, I fell off a step at 4 feet and twisted and landed on the concrete, and I'm still limping 3 weeks later. And I've done the emotional aspect, but I'm wondering if there's an oil that I should be like rubbing on that spot where the pain is. I don't know.
Well, there's definitely, if there's a physical aspect that can be sorted out, but the biofeedback maybe tell me what the root is. I would just, do you use oils already?
Yes.
Yeah, I would just use what you got and do what you can. There may be some more things that need to move it out. It's hard for me to say what that is. I'm trying to send Tina. Here you go, Tina. I'm going to send this to you through Messenger. I don't know how else to get it.
That's fine. And then Carolyn, you're the one asking about the membership, and you guys can go to her Facebook page too, and to follow along, and you'll see where she offers membership as well.
I just sent it to you in your
Okay.
your Facebook Messenger. But oh wait, am
Or message me and I can get it to you.
okay. I think but oh wait, I just realized I can just copy it in this chat, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Let me see. Copy.
All right.
See if is that, do you guys see that or no? No, that's
Not
not
yet.
everyone. I need to do everyone.
Mhm.
There we go. Awesome.
There you are.
And feel free to send that to whoever, or if you know anyone who needs a biofeedback, you know, go to the website and I'm happy to help. If you get the scan only, it'll start the frequencies for you and you will get all the reports to be able to look at it. But I do strongly suggest getting a consultation with the first one. That way I can go over the reports with you and I could help you interpret them. After you do it once, you won't need interpretation anymore. It's easy to understand, but that first time, sometimes it's a little bit like, what am I looking at here? You know? But really I do have to get going.
Thank you so much. We
Yeah.
honor you, and we're so thankful for your journey, and that's got you this far so far, and that you were able to come and share your heart with us and share your knowledge and the wisdom that has been given to you as part of your scroll. And I can't wait to get my bioscan
Yes.
put up. I'm gonna get the one with the consultation. So I'll let you guys know how that goes and how fun it was. Yeah.
Yeah, just keep me
So-
posted and I'll be back in February.
Yeah,
Well,
she's also going to be on the Voices, on ATS for the Voices. So we'll update you guys on that. You get a little heads up on that. So
It was such a
Yay.
pleasure to meet you all so much.
Well,
You have
thank
no
you.
idea. The timing is just perfect and beautiful. So thank you for even allowing me a mission with you.
Oh, thank you for coming.
thank
We
you so much for
appreciate it.
today, Charnel.
Thank
You
you.
have a very
Beautiful.
blessed
Really
day and all
good.
your
Thank
other calls,
you.
I know.
God bless.
Bye
Thank you.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
And who is
Blessings.
Golden Noodle? I just saw you pop up.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry, it's been a rough morning.
Oh,
Oh gosh. Yeah. I'm okay.
We love you, Eric.
are you okay? Do we need to send a quick prayer to you? What's going on?
I went for an insurance exam and they came back and said my A1C is 10 and both my parents were diabetic and they're dead. So I'm struggling.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Well, sorry is sorrow, and that's true. You will have sorrow. You're experiencing sorrow. I can see it. And it's okay to cry because sometimes that is the best way to move it out. And also, diabetes is easy to fix.
Oh,
That's what I told you.
Super fucking easy. Excuse
We
me.
got this. We got this.
okay.
Mm,
I'm
Most-
scared.
yeah, don't
I
be
have a
afraid.
12-year-old daughter.
Yeah, a lot of quote diabetes is actually fungus. So
Okay.
if we can clear the fungus, then you won't have the sugar cravings because fungus only survives on carbs and sugar. So if you can starve it, then all of a sudden, guess what? You have different
No
cravings.
more diagnosis.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on my Instagram, I actually just posted a testimony about someone changing. I've thousands, not just one person, thousands have changed their chemistry, their blood, and those labs can be changed 100%.
So awesome.
I promise you. What's your name?
Eric?
Eric, I promise you, this is not a death sentence. And I'm so sorry about your parents, and I totally understand the trauma and insurance companies and the medical people, they want you to think that this is the end and they try to scare you to do all this stuff. And I've worked with so many people who have gotten surgeries they didn't need or got body parts cut out for no reason or things radiated or chemoed for no, just to cause more problems. Eric, there is a solution. It's not hard. I promise you, we can do this fun and easy. There's nothing that's going to happen to you or your child. And I promise you,
I'll be in touch.
This is the shift, and this is where the cycle changes.
Yep, come on.
Mhm.
just a few little simple things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't-
God
It's-
is
it's
in
like
your
whiplash.
cells. Yeah, God is in your cells. And God isn't dying of diabetes. I promise. It's
Okay.
You got this. We got this. I'm in your corner.
I'll be in touch.
That's a good
Really?
sign right there. You saw him breathe.
Such a timely.
It's
That-
really scary.
Okay, so it is scary. Yes, so say this, I feel fear.
I do. I feel fear.
Okay. So now I want you to say, I am secure. Say it out loud.
I am secure.
That's a good breath. That is God breathing through you. That is releasing. That's transmitting. So I am secure. Say it again.
I am secure.
Yes.
Say it again.
I am secure.
See, okay. Now right through that, you see how the octave changed a little bit and there's a little bit of catch here. I am secure. Say it like you mean it.
I am secure.
That's a
I
lot
am
better.
secure.
Keep going. I am secure. Say it like
secure.
3 more times.
I am secure.
I
I
am
am
secure.
I am secure.
Now mean it as if it's like your life depends on it.
I am
Your
secure.
child's life depends on it. I am
secure.
Do you feel that difference? I can feel it in my body. I am secure.
I am secure.
And
I am secure.
Okay, look right in the camera.
I am secure.
I am secure.
I am secure.
Now say it to yourselves. I am secure.
I am secure.
I am secure and I stay.
I am secure and I stay.
I see cure everywhere I go.
I see cure everywhere I go.
Say it like you mean it.
I see cure everywhere I go.
Get mad about it, Eric.
I am.
Say it like you're pissed.
I am secure everywhere I go.
Yes, and I see cure everywhere I go.
I see cure everywhere
I
I go.
ignite security in everyone I contact.
I ignite security in everyone I contact.
I'm born to secure the collective.
I am born to secure the collective.
I am God security now.
I am God security now.
I ignite security in everyone I contact.
I ignite security in everyone I
Everyone I
contact.
contact.
How do you feel? What are you feeling in your body?
Electricity.
Yes, you did that. And you did
Okay.
that for all of us.
Yes.
Because who else is feeling that?
Woo!
Awesome.
Yep.
God
Amen.
is
Yes.
the only power and presence acting here.
Yes.
Come on.
It-
So cool.
All there
Only
is.
God touches me. Only God touches me
Only.
and my family.
Only God touches me and my family.
God touches me and my family.
Only God sees me. Only God talks to me. Only God feels me.
Only God sees me. Only God talks to me. Only God feels me.
Which means F the insurance company and whatever they say, they will no longer be able to speak to you like that. They will only speak God words to you from this day forward. You
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
Only God speaks to me. Only God touches me. Only God touches me and my family from this day forward.
Yes.
All things work together for those who love God, and I love God.
All things work together for those who love God, and I do
I love
love
God.
Him.
See, and you're breathing. See, this is moving energy. This is just a trauma from your parents' situation that you are now resurrecting. I am resurrection life.
I am resurrection life.
Say it like you mean it.
I am resurrection.
I am resurrection life.
Yes.
Come on. Yes, you are. Come on.
I resurrect everyone I contact.
I resurrect everyone I contact.
The same resurrection in Jesus, and this is not a decree, is in your cells, dude. You got this. Do not let the illusion take you down. It's a lie. And you are truth, and truth lives and resides in you. You are walking truth. F all those people that lie to you. They don't exist anymore. Do not give it any energy. The only thing, and if it creeps up here, any kind of fear, any kind of thing, anyone tries to come, you go back to that decree. Only God touches me. I am secure.
Only God touches me. I am secure.
And so is my baby girl. What's her name?
Katerina?
Karina? Only
Katerina.
God touches
Katerina.
Karina.
Only God touches Katerina.
Only God touches Cat.
Yes.
There's the cat again.
Wow, right? Is she great?
Whoa.
Just kidding.
I have a great cat. His name's Cinder.
No way.
And
Yeah.
this is why
Oh.
it's important for decrees. This is why I've added decrees to the cards, because what you speak is what's coming from the heart. The heart speaks.
Yes.
And the heart comes out, and this is what changes the field. When we use all of these in combination, we are a 3-chord threat. And when we work together like this, we're even more powerful than they can even imagine. They should not try us. They have no idea who they're messing with.
This is the awakening that's going to change everything that they're
See.
scared of us becoming who we are and knowing who we are. That's going to change what they're doing to us, that they're not going to be able to do it because we are awakening and coming into who we are. We are remembering.
So Eric, what's your body doing? What are you feeling in your physical body besides electricity?
It's restless.
Okay,
It's moving.
It's okay. Who's it?
Me, my body.
Okay, so when did you start talking to yourself? When did you label yourself an it? What age? There's a number that's going to come to you.
7.
Okay, what happened at 7?
I don't know. That's just the first number that came to my mind.
Okay, how about I choose to know?
I choose to know.
Okay, now what is it?
I got hurt.
Okay. So what if I told you the main?
I hit myself in the eye with a muddy stick, and I had to go to the doctor and wear an eye patch.
There you go. So some sort of trauma came in at 7, and you shut down, and you became an it in the past. Is God an it?
No.
Are you an it?
No. I'm a son.
You are. You're a radiant sun.
Sunshine.
So again, keep with the decrees. Do not let anything change your focus of God is the only power and presence acting here. And that breath is relief or reliving. We just activated you. You activated yourself just now to a whole new realm. Your whole entire field just shifted. Does everybody see his field? Does everyone see his body, his face? And you are relaxed. Yes, I saw your shoulders drop. You're breathing again. You're in your strength. You're in your power. You're back. Welcome home. It's a baby boy.
Come on.
Happy birthday, Eric.
You're amazing, Eric. We love you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Eric.
It's been raw this morning.
So
Well,
glad you came on when you did.
Well, it's been extra because we are in a full moon, a solar flare, Schumann resonance. There's a lot of energies that are really, really a shit storm of energies right now that are trying to entangle with anything that we have in our DNA. When the Schumann does this, we have 2 choices. We can react and then depress everything down and not deal with it and just, have a reaction and then just like go hide and like not cry or whatever. Or we can go, okay, this is coming up for what? To what? To heal, to restore, to make more room for God. When we collapse the traumas, then we have more space within the cells for God radiation to go out, which only collects a match.
That's so good. I love that.
Keep breathing, keep loving, let air come through your body and your electric system, and you're going to see some major changes here. Dana says, I'm bawling my eyes out here. Okay. I love all of you.
Thank you so much for staying on.
Yeah,
This was-
thank you.
This
I,
means a lot to all of us.
Yes,
we'll talk
Well,
soon.
that's that Gary Young coming out.
I
Well,
want to fight
Eric,
this.
what's up?
I want to fight this.
Yeah, well, don't fight it.
Oh,
Because whatever you fight, you get more. How about I win? God wins.
I win.
Yeah, whatever you focus on, you make room for. So keep it in the already done. And this book, if you can send me your address, I'll send you a book. It's gonna help a lot.
Okay.
Keep in touch with me. Love you, bro. Love
Yeah.
all of
Love
you.
you too. Thank you.
Love ya.
Thank you.
Yay. So
I'm
cool.
really glad I came on.
Me too. Nice to meet you all. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day.
You
You
too.
Shalom.
Thanks, Sharnael. Be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Bye, Tina.
Bye.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming again. We honor you.